Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. This is the pre-market analysis for QOL trading for Friday, August 14th. For those of you that are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel and hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. And if you go down in the description, you can get to our links where we have our website, QOLtrading.com. If you go onto the website, the front page, you'll see there, put your name and email address in there so you can subscribe to our free weekly newsletter that we put out on Sundays. We put out 21 editions so far. And in the edition, it goes over the market review for the week, as well as what to expect for the week ahead. You can also access our different links that we have up here, our live trade desk and our Discord channel as well. So that being said, let's get into it. Economic data right now, we have core retail sales 0.3. It's down. I think that's going to be positive for the marketplace. A month over month 0.6. And then at 9 o'clock today, we have University of Michigan inflation expectations. So you got to watch things there. Also, they just stuck something in here. President Trump is speaking today at 2 o'clock. So I don't intend to be trading then. But anyways, that being said, let's get into our routine. So let's start off with the VIX. Let's see what our VIX is doing right now. VIX is definitely dropping, so that's positive for the equities, right? So the VIX is low, volatility is low, confidence in the marketplace, taking your position. So we do like the VIX down here. However, one thing to note, we do have a whole bunch of gap downs here, right? So 25.74 from April 8th, and then above that we have a $30.34. So if the market does flush at some point this year, which I think everybody's expecting some kind of pullback, the VIX will elevate, and when it elevates into these levels, probably at $30 level will probably be your there'll probably be a couple legs, right? So the market will flush a little bit, then bounce, give you a dead cat bounce a little bit, and then probably give another 2 or 3 leg flush. And then if it gets the VIX gets up here to that $30 level, then I think the pain will be done, right? So, but right now everything is strong, so it's very difficult to take money off the table. But my advice is to have some dry powder sitting on the sidelines for when the market does pull back. Looking at oil right now, oil is pulling back a little bit. It did respect this $84.34 per gallon. We do have a gap up at 71.63 per gallon. There's a little tiny gap up here. I'm not even going to put that on the charts here. But we do have a gap down here at $90.34. That would be actually the last one we have is 96.99. So if oil does elevate, I would say that that's probably going to be your threshold. I think a new norm for oil is probably going to be closer to $100 a barrel, but it's just my own opinion there. Yeah, let's get in over to the ES. The ES all-time highs yesterday, 78.38.50. So above that, if you can push and get that push above it, I don't have anything for the ES until we can get up to this maybe $80 and 8,076 level, and then maybe even above that, 83.36. So does that mean that we hit that before we start to get the flush? Who knows? So you can see right here, when we talk about break and retests all the time, here was a high from the 10th, which was Monday, I believe. And you could see it was respecting that level, respecting it, and then we broke above it, and then we came back and we tested it to the T, right? So it came back down here, so you take their longs here. So that'll probably be your your line in the sand there, as long as you can hold that 77.98 level. I think upside is still coming right now. So watch this all-time highs here. If you flush through that, I think you can start to creep up to these upper 8,000 level. You'll probably get some a headwind at 8,000. It's a psychological level, and then above that, 8,076, right? So it is pulling strong right now. The retail sales number right now is acting positive. I think more or less directed towards the interest rates. So we'll see what happens as the market turns for today. So good, positive, big push early in the morning, big flush, and then a bounce off of that level. And now you're going to have to get above that 78.38.50 level in order to continue to push higher. And let's get over to the SPY. SPY is going to show you pretty similar chart here, right? Same thing on the SPY. I'm pretty sure that's all-time highs. Let me double check that. Yep, that's all-time highs. We'll mark that on the calendar there, or on the charts. Okay. So same thing on the SPY that I have here. If you get above that, say, above 779, I think you can push. I don't have a level until you get to 827. So that could be like a slow grind higher. Uh, this is, we didn't quite pull back to this 775.05 level here, but you could just see how we did break, break these highs here that we had here from the 10th, broke above it and still held it, right? So the trend, the bullish trend is still in play right now. So getting above that 779.37, I'm not sure where we're going to have, where we'll have breakdowns here, because I don't really have anything until this upper regressional trend line here that I have here all the way back that I started drawing from October of 2022. So the longer I go out on my trend lines, the stronger these lines become. Okay. Let's get over to NQ. Got some room to move on the NQ. So the Nasdaq can move up to 30,599. You could see here a good push yesterday, slight pullback, so that bulls are still in play there. 30,074. Hold that level. Continue to push higher. Let's take a look at. See where we are on we're well above our moving averages here. So the 50 is at 29,468. So that's pretty positive. But you can see right here that the good push up, not really a flush here. So this is your line in the sand. If we lose 30,074, then I think you're going to flush out and give yesterday's move all the way back. And then you're probably your line in the sand right here. Really line in the sand is 29,783. If you lose that, then you'll probably pull back down into the moving averages. First one is the 50-day at 29,488. But right now, market's strong. Probably want to get above yesterday's high in order to continue to push. And then you can push into that 30,599.75. If you continue to get a push for the next couple of weeks, then you can push back into the all-time highs, 30,975. Get over to the Qs. Qs are going to show you the same thing on the Qs. You can see yesterday, here is a high from July 2nd that it respected, broke above it, respected it, dropped below just a little bit, but you can see in post-market it held that level. You're going to want to hold that 730.83 level, and then hopefully we can push into that 737.43. Above that 737.43, you can make your way back to all-time highs at 748.65, and then into this regressional trend line. It's 10-year regressional trend line that I have here. It's 751.75. So if you did push there, I would not be surprised if you get pretty decent headwind resistance up there at that level. On the downside here, you're probably going to have to hold this break in structure here from yesterday's trade. So if you lose this, I don't know why it's doing that in that color here. I'm just going to make it white. Little break in structure here at on the right side here. Showing me the price level here. Give me price level. Okay. 729.83. If you lose 729.83, if you're then you come back down here to 728.54, which is an August 5th high. If you lose that, then you're going to continue to flush and give back yesterday's move. Same thing. But right now, bulls are in, so possibly you could push up into the 737.43 for today. Okay, that being said, let's get into our Mag 7 stocks here. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. NVIDIA, pretty choppy day yesterday, but you could see it held these highs here. It held the 224.76 level, so big rejection up at that 227 level. If you could get above that 227 level, then I think you could start making your way back into the June highs, 235. Above 235, you've got your all-time highs at 241. So the same thing, line in the sand here, 224.14. If the market flushes, I think you come back down here to this 221.60 level. And then below that, then you've got this regressional trend line that I have here from April of last year at 217.81, as well as this open point of control we have at 217.50. Apple, look at Apple. Apple's looking a little weak to me right now. We did hold this 301.97 level yesterday, right? It popped down there. We do have a point of control that was filled here at the 50-day moving average at 308.97. That'll probably be your line in the sand. I've got this regressional trend line here from October of last year sitting at 308. You'll probably get some resistance. You could see right here on Tuesday the market tried to get above that level. It rejected it immediately, right? So if you lose 301.97, I think you'll pull back to the 293.53, which is the 50-day moving average, and this midline, excuse me, that's the 100-day moving average, and then this midline regressional trend line, the same one as this upper line. Where are you? Same level here as this upper regressional trend line. So it's a pretty tight one. So 290 between 292 and 293.53, that would be a pullback level. That would be a pretty decent pullback level. If you do push and you get above 308.97, then this is all going to be a speed zone here. And then you could push up to this longer term midline regressional trend line here at 316. Meta. So we had this 583.27 level here as an open point of control, and it filled on Wednesday of this week, and then we regained that level here. So now we're pushing back a little higher. Probably going to get some headwinds here. You have the 50 and the 100-day moving average sitting right at 597.43, and then a high at 598.74 from the beginning of August of this year. If you can regain that, you're going to recoup this whole entire speed zone here on the downside here, and then possibly push up to that 608.14 level. If you lose 592.66, this move is probably going to be given back down to this 587 level, and below that, you'll probably come back and test this point of control level that we have here again. I don't have any other point of control levels that are open for Meta. Google, take a look at Google. So Google, a little weak right now, but it did hold this upper regressional trend line here. It's a 10-year regressional trend line, big level here that it held on Wednesday of this week. But you can see it's respecting the 20-day moving average at 345, 345.57. You're going to need to get above that. If you get above that, then you can push into this June low of 348.10. You'll probably get a little headwind there, and if not there, at the 350.07 level with the 100-day moving average, right? So these are break and retests. It's a beautiful diagram of a break and retest, right? So you held it here on Wednesday, and then we lost it, right? So when you lose a level, that level of support then becomes resistance when you get back up there. On the downside, on the early downside here, if you lose 344.12, I've got the 341.98 level that held the other day, but then if you lose that, I think you're going to come back down here and test this regressional trend line again at 339.06, and below that, you probably, if you lose that level, then I think you probably come back down here this 330 level, which is the 200-day moving average. Amazon kind of weak right now. You can see which we're below this 270.73, which is an August 5th low. 262.07 is a weekly low from July 30th. Must hold that level. If you lose that, then I think you flush down to the 255.75 level, which is in the 20-day moving average. You can see we're making lower highs and lower lows right now. So until you regain yesterday's high, I would not be thinking long. I would be thinking pop and fades. On Amazon right now, it's looking a little weak. I think there's still some more downside for it. If you lose to 255.75, I think you come down here to the 248, which is a low from July 16th, and also the 50-day moving average of 247.91. Microsoft overall, it's strong right now, even though we've been fading a little bit. But I think I was looking at it on a monthly chart here. So if we look at the here's a monthly chart, right? So Microsoft, it was flushing pretty much from July of last year. Had a big flush here in June. and then regain the June's high. So Microsoft right now, I would pull back. I would be looking for pullback longs. However, we do have a gap down here, right? So we got a gap up here at 486.64. It's also a June high. So an ideal pullback for Microsoft is 466.54. On the upside here, if you pop up into this 506 level, you'll probably get some resistance. It's an October low. You could see we tried to hold it here on Monday, lost that level, tried to get above it, lost it, and now we are below this level. So you have to respect it. If you do regain this October low 506, you could push into the 519.30 level. 493.50, that's going to be your line in the sand today. It's a December 2025 high. If you lose that, I think you flush back down here to this gap up 486.84, which is also a June high as well. And if you did continue to flush here, we've got a December 9th of 2024 weekly high at 456. Okay, SpaceX had a nice little purge up on SpaceX, but I said don't get too confident with it. We had an open point of control here at 149.40. It got filled yesterday. It got filled. Actually, it got filled on Wednesday. Excuse me. So we do have some open point of controls down below. We've got a 129.22 that needs to probably fill before you continue to move higher. We are above the 20-day moving average, which is positive, but we are below the open on the IPO open of 150, right? So that's going to be something to keep in mind until you, I would say, until you get above this 155, you would not be confident. I would not be confident until you get a break and a hold of 155 to push into the 167.34 level. But I don't think that's that will come without some flush first, right? So if you flush out, got to hold this 135 level. It's the opening low from the first day of trade. And then below that, like I said, we've got an open point of control, 129.22. We also have the last open point of control down here at 110.53. So I think there's going to be a lot of volatility still with SpaceX. So I would say I would not be, too comfortable with long-term longs is one thing, right? So if you're going to hold the stock, as Berkshire Hathaway says, if you won't own it for a stock for at least 10 years, you shouldn't own it for 10 seconds, right? So long-term play on SpaceX, I think everybody's going to have it in their portfolio at some point, but I think they have to issue more shares. The float is not great enough right now. So my feel for it is at some point they will do a stock split to issue more shares, and the price will come down to reality a little bit because where it's at right now and not making money, it's kind of reminds me of the .com days when all companies did put a .com at the end of their company, not making any money, and then that's why the bust happened, right? Okay, let's get into Tesla right now. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. Nice push on Tesla. We regained this whole speed zone here. That was from Tuesday, right? So on the downside there, we definitely covered that, right? We talk about these speed zones all the time. When you have one directional move, then it comes back, it becomes a speed zone once you get above these certain levels. And yesterday it was right on the open. Didn't even really look back. Longer term speed zones that we still have, we're in it right now. So this is this is right after earnings, right? So it hasn't quite gotten there yet right now. So I would say to be really comfortable with Tesla, you're going to have to break and hold above this 347.17 in order to start filling this speed zone right here. But you can see this speed zone that we had here from July 23rd. We didn't quite fill it yet. So that's going to be your line in the sand here, this 347.10 level. And that 347.10 level is a 61.8% retracement level that I have here from January of 23 to the all-time highs, right? So big level here. As you go further out on levels, they become more solid here. So 342.11 is a July 23rd high, and you can see right now in pre-market we are rejecting this level. So I would watch that level in order to continue to move continue with this move from yesterday, right? So you can see we tried to get above it yesterday in post-market, and it's rejecting it right now. So 342.11, you're going to want to break and hold above that to possibly move into this 347.17. And if you do get that typical Tesla push here, and you get that hold, you can push back up into this 362.45 level, which is a April 15th low. So here was a decent level here. Let's look at this level here that we had here yesterday. I was not trading when this was going on, right? So this is an April low of this year low, right? And so we talk about break and retest all the time. So it broke the April low, and now is coming back and testing it. And now we're looking at a 15-minute chart. And so I want you to take a look at this. Let's clean this up here. So look at what it did for 15, for a full hour. Got up here, rejected it, came down, could have had a nice trade off of that. Came back up here another 30 minutes later, rejected it again, and came back down here. Could have had a nice trade off of that. And then here we are, one last try. This is the fourth time, got up there, rejected it, and then it purged, right? And at 1 o'clock, finally broke through that level. So that'll be a level if we flush two today. If it does not hold this 337.24 level, then this is going to be considered a false breakout on the upside. And then you could potentially flush all the way back here and give back yesterday's move, the 326.18, and also don't overlook this 318.91 open point of control that we have down here. But we are just trying to get it up into this gap, this gap down here, 372.90. That would happen on July 22nd, so that's going to be a pretty big level there if you do get this break of hold above this 347, and then you can see that market. You can see the price action. And if it comes in strong, like you had some, pretty good volume that came in yesterday at the post, right? So if you look at this, there was some big selling that came in right there on the post yesterday, right? So you can see right here, most of this candle here, this is 2.7 million shares that came in after the close, right after the close yesterday, and a very tiny percentage of it were buyers, right? So there was selling that was going on right here, right on the close. See, and it exceeded the first 15 minutes of the trade of the day, right? So post close, it exceeded the first 15 minutes of volume right there. So that's something to keep in mind right there, right? So heavy selling came in there. So I would be prepared today for maybe a flush. But with Tesla's move right now, you could just be looking for pullback longs at this point right now because we did regain the 20-day moving average. The 20-day moving average yesterday was sitting at 333.54. Now it's sitting at 331.07. So that is a positive. So it did try to reject it earlier in the day, and then we popped right above it. So now here's something to pay attention to. Now, if we flush back down here, this could be considered your break and retest, right? So if you flush and you lose 337, 331 could be your nice line in the sand here for potentially taking another long, and then possibly pushing back up into this 342 to 347 level. On the downside, though, if you do lose the 20, like I said, you're going to give back everything that happened yesterday. So that being said, let's talk about what we're going to do for today. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. The calls, I'm not even going to mess with today's expiration date. I'm going to do Monday's expiration date, which is August 17th. I'm going to have the 350 calls up here, and they closed at about $1.37. But we are we're going to open up higher here. So, we do have 2 days of fade down here, which is time decay. So this will probably open up in the twos. I may change this to 345. We'll see where the market moves as the day goes on. Either way, I'm going to be trading on Monday's expiration, not today's expiration. And I've got the 330 puts up here, and you can see they close at $1 also. And everybody knows that my sweet spot is over $3 premium because the premium prices, they move in dollars versus they move in $5 increments versus dollar increments, meaning that this is moving $1.06, $1.07, $1.08 versus when you get above $3 premiums on whatever strike prices you're trading, you could see it moves in $5 increments, $3, $3.05, $3.10. And why do you do that? Because you get a bigger bang for your buck. So if you're able to buy the bid and sell the offer, you're making $5 versus making $1 for every one lot that you're trading. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. I want everybody to have a safe day. Don't ruin your weekend on Fridays. I've ruined many, many, many weekends on trading on Fridays. So lower your lot size, and you don't make all your money on one trading day, anyways. Anyway, so again, that's going to be it for today. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, go down and hit the more words so you can open up the links and you can join our Discord community as well as joining our website so you can get on the subscription for our newsletter that we put out every Sundays. Aside from that, if I don't see you in the trade room, have a great weekend, and I will see everybody on Monday.